All right, so today we're building a simple Pomodoro study tracker using the latest version of nextjs, and that's it, front end hooks. Basically, what you see on screen is a simple Pomodoro.focus clone, if you will, without all of the functionalities. The big piece that I wanted to include with this is the timer, which is most important, and also the ability to toggle states, and felt that it'd be pretty cool to add in the ability to indicate the state you're in by having the color of the background change just as it does on the actual website as well. And to get this done, we're not using any additional libraries. We're not doing anything fancy, just some good old JavaScript and some React front end hooks inside of the latest version of a Next.js project. This project is built and designed for you to customize and make it your own. I'm not explaining everything in detail, but just kind of walking you through the thought process on how it's built. So if this is something that you would be interested in as far as getting started, getting a quick foundation, taking this, running with it, making it your own, or if you just want to get a little bit of practice as I am with different states and having the ability to do different things and testing out a potential SaaS for yourself, this is going to be the perfect video for you. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. All right, let's install the latest version of the Next.js app. We'll use the recommended defaults for the project. Let's do a little quick cleanup. We'll set the height to 100%, the width to 100%, and we'll set the default text size to small. We'll remove the boiler from the home page. And now let's run this on the local server to make sure it's working. And navigating the localhost 3000, we see our development server is up and going with the text home page on screen. All right, let's start with the style. We'll need a top bar. On screen. Div for home page. Auto, set the margins to auto. Flex, we'll set the width. We'll set the items to centered. We'll justify between and get some padding on the Y of 5. You notice that change listed there. check mark there. And then underneath it, this is span. Let's test this out. And then outside of this div that represents the logo of the site, we'll add a separate div for some action buttons. I'm going to set the items to centered. Give it a gap of 2. And on small devices, we want to see flex. And we see that listed there. These buttons won't have any functionality just yet, but as a opportunity to push yourself, feel free to add on to it. And we'll map over these. And for each, we'll name it X just to represent what will be displayed. And then for each of these, we want to, man, this thing is crazy. display a button. We want to display X, and as you can see, we're displaying that on screen. And of course, we need to add a key prop. We can just make that X. We'll set the type to button. And we'll give this a class name of rounded large. Set the background color. Style the button. There. And this is what we see. Go. And that is these buttons that we're dynamically rendering. Now we'll add a hard-coded button that will represent more in the event we want to display more items. You can't quite see it just yet. You see that listed there. We'll just set the type to button. We'll set the area label to more. And we'll set the title to more. And for now, that concludes the header. All right, now let's build out the framework of the main section of our application. So we have the div, class name next auto. have that there. Let's tighten this up a little bit. Just fixing the width. There we go. So now it has a little more padding on the edges, which makes it a little easier to see. We're almost ready to start building in some functionality. We'll just make this home page to have some text. Add this additional div. Next auto. Flex. The width to full. We'll set the maximum width of this to medium. Make sure that the items are centered. And we'll make sure these items are centered on the X and Y axis. Save it, and that's what we see there. And then basically what we want to do is just return the Pomodoro short and long. But first we'll need to, actually we can go ahead and do that now. We'll remove home page from the screen. Add brackets to indicate we are performing some JavaScript. And then we're basically going to just pass in an array of items. We'll make that with a capital P. Short and then long. And basically what we want to do is map over these items and display something onto the screen. On display a button. And we want to show the modes. And we'll go m.label. And we need to build in modes that we have not displayed or that we have not created just yet. But let's go ahead and do that now. And I'll add a const here. Active. So we equal to m. And be also equal to mode. All right, so now let's add the modes. So we'll go all the way back to the top. And we do need to bring in some client side hooks. So we'll mark this page as use client. And then we'll also import use effect, use state, use memo, we'll need it. And we'll kind of talk through what each of these mean as we go along, and use ref. So the type of mode, the modes that we're going to have, and this is going to be easy to grow if we need to. We'll have Pomodoro, short, and long. And of course, we knew we would get this error message. We'll remove it for now. And then underneath the type of mode, we'll create a const name modes. And we'll make this one all capital. And we'll need a record. All right. So we'll need to do a little more cleanup. All right. So we have the modes and the record created so that we can leverage it. That cares for the records. And then we'll give this a label. And we'll do seconds. To get it, we'll do 25 times 60. We'll set the background color for the Pomodoro to a background of orange, 700. The card for it will make the background orange, 500. The accent for it will make the, and I should probably put this in parentheses. Accent for it will be text, orange, 100. And then we'll give a subtitle, time to focus. Well, it's going to say that. Let me just finish this out first. So this is what to expect with the Pomodoro timer. Now, if we are on a break, we know that they're indicated by a short and long break. So the first one will be short. The label for it will be short break. We'll set the seconds to 5 times 60. The background for this will be a teal color. Make sure you have it in streams. The card color will be a background color of teal, 800 by 35. The accents, the text will make the color teal, 100. And then finally, the subtitle for this will be take a break. Time for a break. Let's do that instead. Time for a break. And then finally, we'll need a long break. The label for it will be long break. We'll give it seconds. For this one will be 15 times 60. We make it a 15-minute break. We'll set the background for this one to BG yellow, 700. Set the card to BG yellow, 800 by 35. The accent for it will be text blue, 100. we'll set the subtitle for it to be time for a real break. And I made this login, sorry. OMG. Let's revisit the mapping. We'll redo this. First one will be arrow. This one will be short. And this one will be, so just so used to typing login. And we'll go as mode. And outside of the parentheses, we need to map over. And for each one, we're going to display something. We want to return a button. And for right now, I just want to show the modes. And so we can loop over each. We're using M as the indicator to loop, or the iterator, excuse me. There. And we see those listed there. And I'm pretty sure this is because I need a key. Let's just make this key M. There we go. And then now we see Pomodoro, short and long. And as you spread these out, that is what we see listed there on the screen. Perfect. So the cool thing with this is, with that large object, we can go ahead and start to bring the page to life. So just to kind of recap this using TypeScript, or what we've done, to recap what we've done, we've defined a record of our modes that gives us a label, the seconds, the background color, the card color, accent, and subtitle. So we can use these indicators throughout the application to help bring consistency and manage the states and color changes that we want throughout the app. So to gain access to them, let's go ahead and start to bring in some client-side hooks. The first is going to be mode. It will be set mode. And of course, it will be with use state. The second will be for the amount of time that's left. So this will be use state. And this will be modes.pomodoro.seconds. And the state variable names will be seconds left because the timer will count down, and seconds left. And the third state variable we'll need to bring in is const running, and we'll just name it set running. And this one will be equal to use state, and the initial state will be set to false. We won't need this one just yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it. We'll need a state variable to count the session timer. And this one will be named session and set session. And to go ahead and get something listed on screen, we'll go const theme and set that equal to use memo. And this will be modes. All right, we got a lot going on here. I guess it wants me to remove mine and use theirs instead, which is correct. Got to figure out this additional auto correction. Makes it a little tough to see sometimes. All right. Let's go ahead in the initial div with the header. Excuse me, that sets the overall layout, not the header. Let's go with theme.background. And you can see that we're currently initially set on the Pomodoro timer. So the theme color for it, of course, is orange. And I think we can change the color of this text to white. I think that looks it's a little easier on the eye. Let me see, the buttons appear with the sign in, settings, and report, and the more indicator, and the overall screen color has changed as well. All right, so great. Glad to see that everything with that flowed through appropriately. But let's go ahead and add in the additional functionality next. So we're going to have notes, but I'm not going to worry about adding those notes logic. And of course, you can always connect this to a backend. I'm just doing this to kind of show what the build looks like. Save notes. When mode changes. So we'll use effect to help with this. When the mode changes, we need to be able to change the state. And to give us that dynamic effect, use effect is going to help us with it. Inside of it, we'll go set running. We'll set it to false because when we want to change the mode, we need to set the initial or the running indicator to false or to turn off at that point. And we'll go set seconds left. It's going to be theme.seconds. And then it probably would help if I added let's do this. We'll go const notes, set notes. It's going to be equal to use state, and that should just be a empty string. And then we'll need the tick ref and set it equal to use ref. And then this will either be a number or null. We'll come back here. And then underneath, excuse me, the set seconds left, we'll go if the tick ref, if the current meaning that the current state of it, we're just going to go window.clear interval. This is some simple JavaScript. Tick ref dot current, and then underneath it we'll go tick ref dot current will be set to null. And of course, anytime we use effect, we need to pass something in. What we'll be passing in is the mode or theme dot seconds. And getting a little error here. Let me see something. I'll come back to it. Next, we'll go use effect. If it is not running, we just want to return. Otherwise, if the tick ref dot current, if that's the case, then we'll just go window dot clear interval, another JavaScript method, and we'll go tick ref dot current. And tick ref dot current is going to be equal to window dot set interval. Set the seconds left. To prev. And then inside of this, we'll say if the previous is less than or equal to 1, then we can just return 0. And we'll go return previous minus 1. And we'll set this timer to 1000 seconds. I think I have this off a little bit. We'll return. I got something off. Hold on 1 second. Hmm. Ah, need to fix that. It's not an array. Seconds. Let's make sure all of this is correct. I have the seconds listed as a number, but oh, this one. Um, I think I have this one. Let me remove this. All right, let's go. All right, so let's care for the ticking of the timer. This will be use effect. If we don't have anything running, just return. Cool. But if the tick ref dot current, then we'll go window dot clear interval. This will be tick ref dot current. Okay. Then we'll go tick ref dot current is equal to window dot set interval. Reset seconds left. This is going to be the previous. And we'll say if the previous is less than or equal to 1, we're going to return 0. And otherwise, we'll return previous minus 1. And then in the callback, here we'll go 1000. And underneath this, we'll go return. And we'll say if the tick ref dot current is window dot clear interval tick ref dot current, and we'll go tick ref dot current is equal to null. And then in this, we'll pass in running, because that's ultimately what we should be getting. Let me see something. 1 second. Is this thing still? Why don't I just do this? I'm going to take a quick pause and see if I can clean this up a little bit. All right, there we go. So basically what we have is we're referencing the timer, and if there's time left, we basically what we have, so we have our ticking reference, and if it is not running, then we're just going to return. But if it is running and the timer is up, we're going to clear the interval. We want it to run at a tick per second, of course, and we're passing back in running, so we can continue to run if there's time left. So now we need to care for if it hits 0. Timer reaches 0. We'll go use effect. We'll say if seconds left does not equal 0, then we need to keep going and just return. Okay. Then we'll go if running. We'll say set running to false. And then here we want to clear the interval. We'll say if tick ref dot current window dot clear the interval. Tick ref dot current. We'll go tick ref dot current will be equal to null. Okay. So now if the Pomodoro finishes, finish, we'll go if the mode is equal to Pomodoro. Make sure we have the appropriate mode. Then we'll set the session to S+1. Yep. And inside of the callback, we'll just pass in seconds left. We'll pass running, and then we'll also pass mode. Okay. Just making sure. All right, a little more functionality. All right. So the last function that I want to create is the ability to update the tab title. So if we navigate away from this, or if we're doing something else, the title of the tab will continue to let us know where we are with our session. So this will be use effect. And this will just be document.title. This will be format. And this is setting the type or the format of the minutes and seconds. And we're just going to pass in seconds left. And it'll help if we create this function. So we'll just go to the top of the page and create a function named format minutes seconds. And we're just going to pass in total seconds. That's going to be a number. And then within it, we'll set a const to m and make it math.floor. Total seconds divided by 60. We'll const s is equal to total seconds divided by modular, divided by, I think it's the appropriate way, 60. And then from this, we're just going to return a format that we can leverage. And this would be $. And let's just create this function pad. So we'll just go function pad. We return string n dot pad start. And then inside of this, we'll just pass in n, which will represent the number, and that'll take care of that. And where was okay, I think so we have the ability to update the tab. Let's do a function to start it. We'll go function toggle start. set running. Set it to R. If it doesn't equal R, that will take care of that. And then we'll need a way to reset. So this will be function, not function reset. Set running. Set it to false. And set seconds left to theme dot seconds. And we'll just say if we tick ref dot current, pass that in as the argument. And if it is the case, we'll just go window dot clear interval, tick ref dot current, set it equal to no. All right. So that basically is all of the functionality. The only functionality that we haven't added just yet is for notes, and we're just going to save those to local storage. Nothing overly complicated or in a database for right now anyway. So let's go ahead and begin to build out the rest of this functionality. So I'm gonna jump into the main portion of the website. All right, so let's begin by styling the buttons first, or bringing them to life, I should say. So underneath the key, we'll set the type to button, and we'll just go on click. That's in set mode. And we'll just give this a class name. We'll go rounded, rounded large, padding on the X of 4, on the Y of 2. Set the text to small, the font to extra bold. And we'll go transition. If it is active and then we're currently on that particular state, we know we want the entire screen and a few other things to update. So we'll set the background to black and with the shade of 25. Otherwise, we want the background color to be white 0. And on hover, we want the background to go to black with shade of 15. And then this will use the .join method. And I thought I added this, but I guess I removed it. This will just go const active. It's going to be equal to M mode. There we go. So we see we're on Pomodoro. And if we click on short break, actually, I think I'm going to remove the words break so it doesn't overlap. Hold on. It doesn't need to say break. That's short. And this is long. So this is updating the state, and as you can see, every time we click, the color changes. So that's absolutely perfect. So now we have those cared for. Let's take care of the timers. It's amazing how much this AI is assistance. I don't do a whole lot with it personally, but sometimes I will leverage it. And it is a pain to have to when I don't want to use it and it gives so much of the autocorrect. Oh, but it does come in handy when I make little simple mistakes. So perfect. So as you can see, the long break is 15, the short should be 5, and the normal should be 25. And I think I have an extra space. That I need to clean up a little bit, but I won't worry about it right now. I could come back to it later. Let's continue building out this functionality for right now. So there's name at the top. Let's set the text to center. Perfect. Let's give this a class name of select none. Set the text to 88 pixels. Set the font to black. Go leading none. Tracking will be tight. And on small, we want the text size to be 104 pixels. I think we can bring that down a little bit. There, that works. Perfect. So underneath the format section, let's add buttons to start and run and pause and all that good stuff. So we'll go div, go button. And this will be running, pause, PAUSE, or start. Perfect. And then let's bring it to life. We'll give this div a class name, margin top of 5. Okay. Set the type to button. It already has the appropriate. Let's make sure it works. We see it toggles. Perfect. Give this a class name. So we'll set the height to 14, the width to 56. There we go. Rounded extra large, background of white. Set the text to large. The font for this will make black. Still tracking wide. Shadow, small, transition. We'll go hover. and set the opacity to 95 on hover. And we'll go active translate. Yes. And then we'll make this theme dot accent. And then after the closing bracket, we'll add join and hit save. And there we go. And we see it works. We hit start, the timer starts, the tab updates. We hit pause, it pauses. If we go to break, short break, we see it. One thing we could do, I think we can make that a little, let's make this font bold. I think that works. And if we click on long, it shows 15 and it's good. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right, so I'm not going to worry about adding the note section since we're not saving it to any real storage. We'll just add the session subtitle so that you can see it a little more pronounced and have a different indicator of where you are in your study session. Add that now. This one will be session. And then this one will be theme dot subtitle. You see that there. And just to give this some style, little class name, text, small, font black, and set the opacity to 90. We'll add a class name here. Set the margin top to 1. Make the text large. Set the font to extra bold. And we see that there. It's time to focus. And we see it's a break. We say it's time for a break. It's time for a long or a real break. Okay. 14, let's make that 10. All right. Let's set the text to neutral. There, that works. All right. So this is a simple Pomodoro study timer that you can easily add additional functionality, customize, and make it your own. I just decided to use the design and layout of Focus. I think it's Pomodoro Focus. That website is pretty popular. But look, use this same functionality with the timer and breaks and however you want to do it to make it into something a little more meaningful that will be unique to your specific needs. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video walking through it. If you did, feel free to give me a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.